Hi everyone, my name's Konnor. Hope you're well. I'm one of the fourth year medical students here at UC Irvine in sunny Southern California. And with our friends at Sketchy, we're going to walk through a board style question, which might look a little short right here, but it's board style, it's high yield, and microbiology specifically, super important for step one. So we're going to combine all those things, board style question, high yield. We're going to do it all in one video real quickly, talking about this question. So what I like to do when I answer my board style questions is look at the last sentence first. Kind of primes me towards what it's about. So which of the following is the most likely cause of his symptoms? It didn't prime me all that much. I didn't really learn a lot from reading that last sentence, but helpful to stick with a habit. I also don't look at the answer choices as a personal preference. I feel like it biases me and increases my cognitive load, so I don't look at those. I have a 35-year-old man with a history of AIDS. Okay, not good. Headache, confusion, and seizures. Also not good. That could be meningitis, could be cancer, could be a lot of things. Encephalitis. CD4 count is around 50. So we already know they have AIDS. And even though they didn't say AIDS, this is very concerning. Any CD4 count below 500, you're really, starting to get concerned for some of these atypical and really just detrimental bacteria and conditions. They did an MRI, which showed me multiple ring-enhancing lesions. What is the most likely cause of his symptoms? So, just for fun, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Herpes simplex virus encephalitis. Definitely with a lower CD4 count, you're more likely to have herpes simplex of the brain. This is like a temporal lobe encephalitis. You don't get ring-enhancing lesions, though. If they had told me something in here about the temporal lobe, which they almost always have to, for like herpes simplex or like super acute onset confusion, that's more herpes simplex. But I don't see anything about that, and herpes doesn't cause ring-enhancing lesions, so less likely. Really, when I look at answer choices, I'm ruling in and ruling things out based on what I remember and what there is in the question stem. Primary central nervous system lymphoma. So entirely possible at a CD4 count of 50 or below. Very possible. Also causes ring-enhancing lesions. That being said, it's typically a singular lesion with primary CNS lymphoma. You will come to learn when you have multiple ring-enhancing lesions or ring-enhancing lesions, whether it's single or multiple, is a real differentiating factor. So this one I know is single lesions. PML, or caused by JC virus, again, entirely possible in an AIDS situation. Really, everything is possible in AIDS, unfortunately. But this causes a demyelination. You will see that on MRI for sure, but it's not a ring-enhancing lesion. Cryptococcus neoformans, the other name for this is cryptococcal meningitis. Possible. Headache, confusion, seizures, could be meningitis, also with a low CD4 count, possible. But cryptococcus, this doesn't really cause ring-enhancing lesions. Again, causes meningitis, but it's really this ring-enhancing lesion, and you don't see that in crypto. Now, toxo. I left it last for a reason. This toxo and CNS lymphoma are your two bad boys for causing ring-enhancing lesions. Toxo loves to cause multiple ring-enhancing lesions, especially, with a low CD4 count like this. So I'm going to go with toxo, and it is turns out to be toxo. And like we see here, so my number 2 choice was the primary central nervous system lymphoma. So I'm actually going to go through and read that specifically just to make sure I know why it was my number 2 and why it's wrong. So this can have ring-enhancing lesions, but usually solitary. And this is with Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, great. So to do some more studying, I'm going to pull the sketch up, which one, I could just look at it right here, but I also can click on the link and it pulls the sketch up for me. You can take a quiz. You can watch the video. I like Symbol Explorer. That's my favorite feature in Sketchy, to be honest. And I just click through using my answer keys and just go back and forth and click through to refresh myself. Toxo is really important to know. So I'm going to review this sketch because it is high yield for step 1. So toxo is a torch infection. And go here, it's commonly you get it from pregnant women who are scooping a cat's litter box from the cat feces. Can have some oocysts as well. Immunocompromised cane, we've seen that many of times, and Sketchy is so great at reusing symbols. So we know this is more for people like that are susceptible, again, pregnant women as well, but also compromised immune systems. Here's your ring-shaped glasses on here that makes you remember that it's ring-shaped. Here's your toxoencephalitis. This is your common complication. That little red turban always means encephalitis. Helps me remember that. You have to do a brain biopsy really to kind of distinguish fully between CNS lymphoma and cerebral toxo, but other, single versus multiple can also be a helpful distinguishing factor. You get this from undercooked or raw meat as well. Again, we talked about a torch infection. We can have intracranial calcifications, which you will find out for the classic triad of congenital toxo. So this is babies born with toxoplasmosis. This is your intracranial calcifications. Paraventricular calcifications are important for another bacteria, hydrocephalus and chorioretinitis, which is what you're going to see here in all three of these. So here's your calcifications. The water ball on the head is the hydrocephalus, and then the chorioretinitis from the camera, that looks like a cornea right there. Also causes hearing loss. Can treat it with sulfadiazine and pyrimethamine, which are really hard to say. And then this $100 bill, we're worried about toxo when our CD4 count in HIV goes less than 100. So that helps us kind of remember that, which can actually be helpful in other sections as well. So this was just a quick walkthrough of Toxoplasma, which is incredibly high yield, I promise you, not just from the simple, pregnant women and they get it from scooping the litter box. Yeah, that helps you remember it, but there's a lot of pathology to be learned in Toxo. So hopefully this little walkthrough of the question as well as the sketch gave you a good refresher of answering the question as well as everything you need to know for Toxo.